friends, welcome to Cities Skylines, where you join us in monochrome mode while we keep a close eye on what's working and what isn't. We've recovered a little from the many and varied catastrophes that were happening in the last episode, and that surprises me a little because I played forward by a good amount of time. I played a good couple of hours forward, and things went pretty catastrophically wrong in the sense that the entire city basically emptied out. And I'm not entirely sure why that was. Again, I screwed the power up a little bit, and thanks to those who made suggestions as to what could have caused the catastrophes to have happened. But what I did working backwards was working out that actually what had happened was when areas started to dezone. Let's look at this area, for example, here, right? So. What it is doesn't matter. It's all residential for the main part, but it's getting its power thanks to the knock-on effect of having stuff surrounding it. Now, if this area empties out and this area and all of the surrounding areas empty out, it no longer gets power. So the fact that there are people there makes no difference at all. When there's no power in the surrounding areas, they stop getting power. Full stop. At which point they empty out as well, and the knock-on effects can be quite dramatic. So I'm pretty sure I've kind of reinforced myself against that this time round, but even so, you know, we're in a precarious area right now, and at this point, I think the series is going to take a slightly different approach. We're going to retitle the series "How to Recover from a Really Badly Planned City." Which this is. This is a really, really badly planned city. This is my first playthrough, and as such, it's largely grown up, in its own way, in its own kind of fashion, and it's got so many problems. The plague. We're putting the plague down to largely being caused by traffic, so emergency vehicles being unable to get to where they need to go, and I think we've demonstrated that if that isn't the cause, it's certainly part of the problem. But I mean, just look at the number of complaints we've got kind of rolling around at the moment, and there are significant problems here. Now, the I Junction, the supposed saviour of us all, kinda works. Its biggest problem is easily shown here, right? Where you've got this merger lane coming from the underpass highway, and for some reason, every single vehicle wants to merge into the middle lane. I don't know why that is. I just don't get it. And because the result is that you end up with this one-lane tailback. And that's just not helpful. Just not helpful at all. And nobody uses the central kind of alternate route, which is a little disappointing. That would have been quite nice to see that fully occupied as well. But when you've got vehicles that are emerging onto a lane that basically causes tailbacks everywhere else, it's kind of disastrous. But then you've got stuff like this where everything's broken as well. It's just lousy. My traffic network is pitiful, frankly. So what I'm going to do from now on, I've got money in the bank. I want to keep growing until I've got a couple of million. Is I'm going to start kind of wholesale redevelopment of the city, and I shall do that by starting in a fresh area and then gradually coming back and replacing. So we're going to start over here and try and build a nice little self-contained, no problem, no fuss, no worries enclave over here. What's that? That's a bit of rail. And then we're going to try and grow in a harmonious fashion, replacing everything as we go. It's going to take a while, but anything that's worth doing is worth doing. Who knows? Anyway, for the moment, You know, the population's going back up again. We topped out before at about 120,000. That's, you know, that's fine. I think we'll probably hit the same area again, but only once I get some of these problems solved. The first thing I'm going to try and do before we look to doing anything else, though, is I'm going to try and solve the multiple trash problems we've got. Now, we've hit a... Actually, if I bring up the dialogue, you'll be able to see. You know, we've got plenty of landfill storage, but the critical ones are all full. The incinerators aren't quite keeping up, so I've got some that are emptying, which is causing more traffic mayhem, and as such, you know, we need to sort that out. So let's get rid of this pylon system here. My hope is to replace the existing kind of landfill plus incinerators into just being incinerator based. There's a thing. Do I want to have the ability, if I stick a road like, actually, you know, why are you doing it so badly? Oh, we're going to do it badly. All of this stuff is going to get removed in the future anyway. I wonder if anybody actually wants to use this road for other purposes. Yeah, here we go. We've got people merging on. And that's, you know, that's another thing that I find quite interesting is that, you know, you can put a new road in and look at this. Ambulances and garbage trucks. Public services. And public services where I struggle to do things effectively are queuing up all over the shop. So, you know, I think that's a particularly fine-looking road you've built there, my friend. You know, if I could resolve those two things, I think the city would be a far happier place. Anyway, we've put that in there, which you never know might make for some easing of traffic. But what I want to do, while I'm going to be looking at redeveloping things, the biggie for me is to try and resolve a few issues before we get to that point. What's going on over here? You two are black because you've got no road coverage. Okay, well let's just help you out on that, shall we? Come on, can you get through there? I'm sure you can if you think about it. Maybe I've started in the point there. Let's zoom right in. Evidently there was a road going through the middle here at some point. There we go. Don't get carried away, garbage trucks. There's nowhere for you to go just yet. There we are. Let's fire you up there. Now, the secret that I have discovered through... I mean, I started a fresh game. You know, that's how despondent I was with the progress my city was making, was I started a fresh game thinking, stuff it, I'll throw it away. I know they all said I should carry on with it, but I'll throw it all away and see if we can't have a glorious new future. And one of the things I just discovered worked really well is if you try and isolate your trash facilities on kind of private roads, you know, on single-purpose roads, so they don't really lead anywhere, so that you don't get them bogged down in other traffic. Look at this chaos going on here. Absolute carnage. Why have I not got a road going on? Oh, this is because it's the rail terminal, and that's always giving me trouble. And at the moment, it's giving me trouble because no one can get out of there. I think if I were to delete this section here, turn it into something a little higher capacity, so we can at least get this queue moving out. But then again, why are they... What's the cause? It's because they're all going down here. I don't understand why you're doing this to me. Okay, well, let's give them an alternate route. See, some of these guys have wised up and decided to hang off there. However, we could probably... the other thing that I've noticed, and there's no hard and fast rule to it, but on a regular basis, cars will take Route 1 versus Route 2, right? Okay, so far, so vague. the reason that this is interesting is they prefer higher speed routes. If the distance is virtually the same, they'll take the route that has the higher speed road as an alternative. Now, I think if we're lucky, we might be able to get some people peel off here and use this main drag down there. Now, obviously, that's going to cause problems with the port, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's see if anybody's savvy enough to make that happen. I mean, you know, when you're trying to fix queues, you're always going to have to wait for the queue to move along a little before you see any change in usage. Any of you? I just built you a nice strip of highway there. It's nice and fast. And so here is a great example, right? If the route's about the same length, they'll choose the faster length road. This slip road onto the highway here is faster in terms of road speed, but this cut through, which actually would be a great place to have one of these chaps, is more desirable because the queue is less severe. So these side roads were always intended to be used for service vehicles. That's why I put them there in the first place. And the fact that actually this incinerator is not hooked up to the power grid at all. Have a look at the power grid. So yeah, it's actually not helping. So I'm going to build some power lines across here. So yeah, so don't be put off by the fact that what I'm building right now is as ugly as sin. This is all going to be fixed in the future. All I'm trying to do right now is get it to the point that it's not broken. I want to get my incinerator capacity up to a level where it can keep pace so that I can empty out my landfills. And then, all being well... Are you emptying? No, start emptying. Yeah, and then all being well, I could keep maybe 1-2 landfills as emergency measures only, while having garbage dealt with entirely by incinerators. Thank you very much to Commander Riker for suggesting that one. Most useful to know that you can support your city with nothing but incinerators for garbage handling. Yeah, you see, it'd be probably good to have another one around here. What are you? You're graveyards. Alright, let's see. And the other thing is that, cemeteries, they use up a lot of space and they basically just get full. And once they're full, they're no use to anybody. So if I were to replace that, what sort of land have we got going on here? So we've got some industrial going on here. There we go. People are already used to the smog. There we go. Move out. Yeah, it's all about getting your services where they need to go. Now, this area here, this retail park, this was one of my early experiments, and possibly, you might even call it early successes, except for the fact that now that traffic has built up, it's a bit of a disaster, because it's one giant one-way system running all the way around the outside. Completely unnecessary. Definitely don't need it. And then we've got, your cargo terminal coming in an area that is basically just snafu'd for traffic completely. So, this is the kind of thing that I want to be fixing. We are, however, bringing in good money, and we're back up to the point of 100,000 population. Although the number of skulls is not making me cheerful. Hopefully, we can resolve some of that by the new incinerators we're putting in will help fix the garbage problems. I wonder whether over-indexing is a good idea. I mean, I've got the budget in hand, but I don't want to blow through that just yet. Again, let's look where we are. Yeah, you see, we could probably put one in here somewhere. And again, I mean, this noble idea of having trying to drive people commuting on trains. Hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. Point-to-point bus services. That's what I'm going to be building. That's what I'm going to be putting in. Maybe longer distance point-to-point metro services as well. I'll probably still include some passenger trains just in terms of getting people in and out of the city overall. But yeah, there's no good comes from the way that I've been doing things so far. And you know, I'd very much like to see several 100,000 people in my city rather than squeaking it up to 125 and then crashing and burning in a fairly dramatic fashion. And we will get there. We will most certainly get there. Right, now, in other things that have just occurred to me, someone said, make sure I've got services for this new industrial area. So this is what we've built recently, new industrial area. And the services in question are probably fire, where we have pretty much no coverage. Right, let's put a flaming huge. Flaming huge? Is that really the way you want to roll with that? Let's put a very large fire station in here. Alright, that's going to help. Still got crap coverage over here, but that's okay. Equally, we want to let's go for a mind-janglingly large police station. There we go. Now, I mean, that's actually in a completely awful location because it's right next to this crap hole with junk-filled, useless, inefficient, ineffective. I mean, if I could find other words, I probably would. Bad. It's a bad junction. This is a bad stretch of motorway. I'm going to, for those of you waiting for the I-junction to appear on the workshop, I'm going to redevelop it. I want to fix this problem underside here. So I'll redev it on live. In fact, let's have a, while I'm just waiting for it to happen, I'm going to do that now. Let's get rid of the top deck. No! Oh no, that's not going to help. Oh, flipping heck. What I wouldn't give for an undo button. Give me that. Right, yeah, look, we can let people go. That's that's desirable. Okay. Aim before you click, man. God's sake. I'm going to leave the top circle in, just in case I decide to use it. Okay, so what the problem we're trying to resolve here is things merging into the middle lane. And actually, that would be less of an issue if you chaps didn't just use the middle lane anyway. Now, one thing that I've considered, so let's change the lanes. So if I were to do this, right, so that one is like that, right? Left lane, turning left only. Middle lane, left and straight. Right lane, right and straight, okay? Now hopefully it will make these guys, in fact, let's change the lanes here as well, and then we should see less lane switching going on here. Right, so you're left over. Because as it stands right now, it's just going to make matters worse because people are going to trying to switch out of the middle onto the left, and then they're trying to switch back to the middle again. We want to get this left lane moving. And it's going to take a little while for these chaps to unclog so that we get traffic that have actually pre-planned their routes a little better. Now, if we look at this right-hand lane, it's a shame that not many people actually want to go. Yeah, I mean, they're obeying the law, which is nice. Yeah, see, there's no conceivable reason. I mean, the only people staying in the right lane right now are the ones that want to turn right. This irks me. Okay, right, where's this all happening? So we're forcing lane changes from people that quite a long way back, and that's causing tailbacks, which is obviously, compounding the problems that we've got going on. Population up to 105,000. Good, good, good. But we've got to get people using these lanes more effectively. And actually, it's slowing down unintended consequences. You know, it's slowing traffic down in this section here has led to the stuff here merging on faster, which is great and all, but not ideal. All right, okay, I'm going to try something else that's insane. All right, this one right here. Left only, straight on. Let's see what that does. Now, I have in the past seen road users fail to abide by new rules that I've put in place. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clear the traffic. There we are. Wow, I hadn't expected it to clear all the traffic in the city. Stone me! I thought it was going to allow me to hover over a bit of road and just clear that bit. Right, okay, let's see. What? No, you are all back in the wrong lane again. Let's keep them out for one more, just to make this merger lane work. I don't think this is going to be, I don't think this is the solution. Okay, now we're keeping stuff further to the right, which is no bad thing. Wow, that clear traffic button really threw me. I hadn't expected it to just take every single car in the game off the road. Yeah, here we go. So here's where the knock on it. Here's where the problem is happening again. Is that now we've got people trying to merge back in again. And then they're staying in the middle lane far, far too long. Yeah. And these people are at least cutting through. As identified already, but the major problem is that actually if this junction would just flow, that wouldn't be a problem. Equally, if people went a different route, it wouldn't be a problem. Actually, we've got more people actually deciding to go on this alternate line here, and people have finally picked up on the sense that look at this, we can use this section down here. But they're all, a lot of these guys are actually heading for this bridge here. So a lot of this traffic wants to get over here. And my question to them is, why are you not using a different route? If you want to go here and you've come up this bit of, I guess you could, yeah, okay, that's a nice high-speed bit of road. But equally, you could peel off and go up here and around a hexagon and come off over here. Interesting. Fully understanding the whys and wherefores of traffic in this game will continue to elude me. We need more incinerators. Let's stick one in there. It's going to make a couple of people unhappy, but I should be able to clean up your garbage, and that will make you chipper, hopefully. Anyway, right, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode. We've got a very long way to go. I'm not abandoning ship on this playthrough. As noted earlier on, what we're going to do is we're going to fix it. Why? What we use? You're now empty. Good. Do I want to delete it? I think I probably do. I am about to destroy that structure. You're not wrong. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. There will be more of... Oh my good God. Maybe I didn't want to delete it. Let's put a bit of road in here, just quickly. I'm leaving. I am going, but I can't stop work. It's, there items of critical importance are occurring. Yeah, I've been Colonel Failure. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you want to, follow through on this mayhem a little further. I'll be back very soon with some more of the same. Yes, we're going to build a beautiful, symmetrical, geometric city with all services and everything flowing smoothly. But in order to do so, we have to burn the past. This is the past that we have to burn. And in order to get to the point of actually having built our new symmetrical city, we have to fix some of the problems of this one so that not everybody moves out. Tricky, but not impossible. Tune in next time to find out if we get any closer to it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Cheerio.
Listen.